this third video about hand-drawn mazes, I promised to go into more detail about the upsells and downsells, because I think there is nothing worse than getting into a buying funnel with no clue how many extra features there are and which ones you really need or don't need at all. Now, if you've not been here before, my name's Jane Willingale of Silverzone Printables, and I create videos for this channel based on low content publishing and printables for Etsy or similar platforms. And if that kind of thing interests you, then click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos like this. And if you found this video helpful, then please do click on the like button, which will help this video be seen and help me grow this channel. I really do appreciate it. In my last two videos, I covered how I created a book using Affinity Publisher and the Hand-Drawn Mazes app in the activity, puzzle and colouring niche. And I also gave you an inside view of the front-end product of the app in the sales funnel. Now I'm going to dive a little deeper and cover the upsells. And bear in mind, this is my personal and honest opinion. I don't recommend anything I don't think is a useful product, but I will also tell you when I think something is not worth the money. Sales funnels can be complicated. They are of course designed to lead you down the path the product creator wishes you to go, so I'll do my best here to unravel this one. The front end is a pretty good value for money app, and you could create a large number of maze puzzle books using it, especially if you combined it with other puzzles and used it with activity style books. There are plenty of training videos that take you through all the aspects of the app, and they're found at the beginning here before you log in to the hand-drawn mazes section. And I must say the app's really easy and intuitive to use. I found my way through most of it even without the tutorials. At first glance, the pro version doesn't seem that different. So what are you paying for, you may wonder? Well, according to the sales page, this is where you get a ton of advanced features that take your maze creation work to a whole new level. And according to the list, it features the following: a maze solution overlay technology for creating maze stories, quick book creator to speed up production, unlimited puzzle books download PPTX files, unlimited font color, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to cover the main features of those, but you can see the rest of the list yourself on the sales page. So let's take a look at some of these. Here we are in the app at the pro level. The number of mazes are the same. If I scroll down, you can see there are 5 different types from which you can create your book. But the big thing here is the quick book creator. And if I click on that, it shows you the 5 different types of mazes that you can select to create your book. If I select all 5 of them, it selects one by default. It's going to create a book for me based on the number of mazes or pages that I put in here. So if I put 35, which is a good number of pages for a combined activity book, and then I click on create book, it's going to create the book for me based on that selection, and I'll leave it running in the background so you can see actually how long it takes. This, I think, will be the biggest time saver for most people, because if you count how long it takes you, or even time yourself how long it takes you to put a maze on each page 35 times, I'm sure you will see the advantage of this being created automatically for you, and you can then add your graphics in afterwards. So there you are, pretty near close to done. I can tell you from the last time I tried this, it takes just over a minute. There we go. Now, if you remember in the last video, I told you about this randomize feature up here. So although I've got 35 pages, you will see that the mazes follow each other in type, in the order that they were selected. So now if I click the randomize pages, it will mix them all up. So there's a bit more variety within the book. and it does the same for the solution pages as well. Let's just push on down to here. Now it's remembered from the last time I did this that I did not want page numbers, so it's not showing them. But had you forgotten to do that before you created the book, you can still go into the settings and take it off here afterwards if you wish, and it will update the book for you. So at this point I could just download it into the software of my choice to format how I wished, but it does get a bit better than that. You still don't have access to any design elements, but you can upload as many images as you wish, and I've already got some uploaded here which I will show you again in a moment. And having uploaded images, you can then carry on creating the book within the app if that's your preference. If not, then the next big advantage is to be able to download your file as a PowerPoint file along with the original PDF, PNG and JPEG. You can now download as PowerPoint, which for all you PowerPoint lovers out there I'm sure is a big time saver. But if, like me, your formatting software of choice is Affinity Publisher or similar, then you download as a PDF and it will import it straight into Publisher. You're able to bulk clone a particular page as many times as you want. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but you can. And it will also do it if you add in various elements to the page, design elements. So let's add a few in just to demonstrate the point. And again, this is quite quick once you've got your images in here. The time-consuming bit is resizing to fit within the page. Don't think that's selected. Okay. Okay. So now if I clone the page, choose, let's go 2 and clone, you will see that that page is created again. Actually, I think it did it on the 11 that was already in there. No, it didn't, did it twice. Okay. But it will also add in the solutions. So if you've got the same maze at the top 10 or 11 times, it will add those solutions in here. You can see there are 4 based on that first one. Now I can see an advantage to that if you're going to change the graphics around or take the maze out and add a different maze in, but I'm not sure I can see an advantage to being able to clone the same page over and over again unless I was going to use the file somewhere else, and even then you don't really need it cloned several times, you just need the one page, don't you? The rest of the features relate to text and colour formatting throughout all the options within this level of the app. So I can go up here and choose maze colour, which I couldn't do before. And again, that would be for downloadables, printables on the likes of Etsy rather than Amazon. You can't change the colour of the graphics you bring in, only to do with the actual mazes. The style paths you can change. You can add in, yeah, when you see a solution, you can see a dotted line instead. I wonder if that does that on the solution. Yes, it changes the style on the solution as well. You could view the different paths of the solution. So if I was to select all 3 of these, you will see 3 different styles just. They're not that obvious to see, but you can see there are, because there are 3 paths through this puzzle. And you can set those choices globally. Where it said in the sales page, your multiple solution path styles and global control for solution styles covers all of the mazes as you change those options. Is the upsell worth it? Well, it's $67 and it depends on how much you value your time. I can see that being able to knock out several books at 35 pages plus each within an hour has a major advantage for the speed at which you can publish books. And if you have a series style cover which can be as easily edited, then you really can push your publishing up a notch. There is no downsell at this stage. The next point on from that will be the premium version, where you get access to a varied library of 1,000 plus hand-drawn maze designs, and that would be a big upsell there, a big advantage there, because being able to randomize your books with 1,000 different puzzles is certainly going to make your books different and original. So now we'll go into the premium version, which is the next upsell, just briefly so you can see the different types of mazes which have been added. And I'll also briefly click on the training section so you can see the number of tutorials within here. Niranjan always goes overboard with training, and that's not to knock him. I think it's wonderful. He covers absolutely everything he can think of when it comes to teaching you how to use his software. So within the introduction, you've got all the different ways of logging in, resetting password, etc. You've got working with the console, working with the canvas, lots of different videos there. The context menu that comes up depending on what you select, the pages, and how you can do various things with each of the pages, and then the mazes themselves. There's also a section to do with KDP, which is above and beyond really what he needs to supply. So we'll go into the premium version, and now you will see straight away that if I scroll down, there are a huge number of mazes and types of mazes. So if your goal is to be able to spend the next 6 months, I should think, creating puzzle books using mazes and having every single one different, then this is definitely for you. You can do the same thing with the QuickBook Creator. Select as many of these as you wish and create your book in exactly the same way as I did before, though it will take longer because you're choosing from a lot more maze styles and probably putting in a lot more pages. I have tried it with 100 and it does take a little while. It works, but I would suggest that it will slow things down quite a bit. So it's been recommended to me to stick with the 30 to 40 pages and then combine them afterwards. And that makes sense. The only downside of that I can see is that the solution pages might get a little muddled if you're not careful. But I think actually one of these books mixed up with other types of activities, 40-45 is more than enough to be including in the book. Is it worth it? Well, it's $97 for this upgrade, which is quite steep, but on the other hand you do get an awful lot for it. If you are planning on pushing this niche to its limit, I would suggest you probably need this. If you just want to test it out, then probably not. There is a downsell which drops it down to 300 hand-drawn mazes rather than the 1,000, and that costs $67 and won't be available after the launch. And unlike some producers of these kind of apps, Niranjan's pretty constant in that if he says it's not going to be available, it's not going to be available. So if you think you can use the extra mazes, then now is the time to dive in and get them. The last upsell is what they call their Elite, and if we access that one now, and before I dive into that one, I just want to mention that for anyone who buys through my link, I will be giving a bonus of various design elements to add into the storylines that you wish to create with the mazes. That will be available on the Warrior Plus site by the close of the launch, which is the 25th. I will leave more detail about that in the description below. And I mention that because this next upsell now gives you access to all the design elements which they are selling as part of this. And this gives you various illustrations to add in with quite a range, as you can see, from all different types of niches. There are something like 400 plus different images that you can add into the mazes to create storylines. Really useful, no question about that. If you don't want to be bothered with going to find your own, or if you don't have a lot of your own on already, then this would be a great start to be creating various books using the niches they supply. And they might add some more later. It's not listed yet, but you never know. They've been known to do different things like that. But if you didn't want to go to the extra expense of buying the designs, and they are $67, so it does start making this whole thing slightly more expensive, then you could go to the likes of Creative Fabrica, and if you have a subscription there, you can download various images to use. You can certainly make use of the ones that I will supply as a bonus. The whole point of this lot is to save you the time. Again, it's how much do you value your time. There is a downsell here as well, which gives you 100 design elements instead of the 400 which are included with the whole thing. And the price of that is $47. I actually think if I was going to spend the extra money, then I would spend the 67 and get all 400. But it depends on your budget, and I'm certainly not you. That pretty much covers everything this app has to offer. I hope I've been able to give you a reasonable insight as to what you could expect. I certainly think it is well worth purchasing. As to whether you buy the extra upsells is entirely down to your own business and your own budgets. Links for everything I have mentioned are in the description below. I hope you found this useful. I've been Jane Willingale of Silver Zone Printables. Until the next time, thanks for watching.